very pleasant good evening from the Rainbow Wahine Softball Stadium in Manoa. It's game 2 of this evening's doubleheader as the University of Hawaii takes on the 19th ranked Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Scott along with Lori. And in game 1 of this doubleheader, earlier we saw Texas Tech shut out Hawaii 5-0. It doesn't get any easier in the nightcap when you're taking on a nationally ranked Minnesota team.
No, it doesn't. They've got a 1-2 punch, and we're going to see the 2, basically, and Autumn Pieser, and she's not that much worse than the 1, but they do have some pitching on this team coming off a World Series visit last season. Really, really good young group of players, and it's a great test for Hawaii. I mean, they're going to have Izzy Dino in the circle. It's a chance for her to sort of reestablish herself a little bit. Going to be a tough outing for the Rainbow Wahine. They got to score, Scotty.
I was going to say, we talked so much about Hawaii's troubles in the circle. They had troubles at the plate in the first game, unable to score against Texas Tech. How do you get the offense going here against Minnesota?
We didn't see a lot of changes in the lineup, a little bit. We'll see Heen behind the plate again. One of the first times we've seen her back-to-back in a doubleheader behind the dish. Kali Noy seems to be one of the bright spots. The freshman had a couple hits at the beginning. Rachel Saborn, another freshman, will be at second base. So a little bit of tweak in that lineup, but it seems to me he's kept a lot of it the same in terms of spots, which tells me that he's trying to put some trust in this group that they can score runs.
The good news for Hawaii, it's 1:15 in the morning in Minneapolis right now. So maybe the Gophers will be tired. Up next, the starting lineups in the first pitch, Hawaii and Minnesota. And welcome back. Time now for the Hawaiian Financial FCU batting order for the Gophers. Partain, Jensen, Den Hartog. Batting cleanup is Hansen, followed by Strelo and Komet Mueller. The bottom third of the order, Jones, Brandt, and Vanderhyde. For Hawaii defensively in the outfield from left to right, Soma, Rossi, and Kali'i Noi. Ramos at third, Kaupe the shortstop. At second, Saborn. At first, Nakamura and Callie Heen getting the start behind the plate. And in the circle for the University of Hawaii, the sophomore out of British Columbia, making her 11th start of the year, a 4-4 markets. Izzy Dino, 3.82 ERA and 51 in the third innings, 23 strikeouts and 10 walks. And as we saw a year ago with Dino coming into her sophomore season as well, some really good games and some really not so good games. She's kind of hit and miss.
And they worked this week on sort of getting her back a little tighter in her windup. Her strength is that she throws the ball down. I mean, that's her better pitch, tends to be the drop ball. She just got to kind of find that rhythm again.
And the first pitch down is missed by Izzy Dino. Minnesota, a 265 squad at the plate. They have 18 home runs. They receive Partain out of Banks, Oregon. Partain hitting .354, second on the team in average. Leads the team in doubles with 7, has 4 home runs and 19 RBIs.
Just at the Long Beach UCLA tournament, so they beat Long Beach State, beat Cal Poly, and they lost to Cal State Fullerton, the number 1 team in the Big West Conference, and UCLA.
Yeah, they went 2-2 in that one and had a tie. Fly ball out to center, carrying quite well out to the wall, and Rossi with that right hand out to brace herself, makes the catch. All right, let's take a look at the umpiring crew for this one. Behind the plate is Charles Yarrow. Saw him in the first game. Over at first base, John Park, and over at third base, it's Jed Sasaki. So the umpires just move around from the first game. One away. Here's Ellie Jensen, the designated player.
That ball carried a lot. Ended up being somewhat of a tough catch for Rossi in center.
Ball past the diving Saborn into center field for a base hit.
Well, just a half swing. Beautiful at bat right here. Just past the outstretched glove of Sabor, and you're going to see that ball kind of over the plate. Just pops it enough to get it up the middle. May need to play a little bit deeper. When you've got that slap hitting lefty, give yourself a little more range.
And the left fielder will step to the plate. Natalie Den Hartog out of Hopkins, Minnesota, sophomore.
Yes, she has been red hot. Batting average, 425 home runs. She's got 781 slugging percentage, Scott. She's the Big Ten Player of the Week at the Auburn tournament. Does it all for this team.
Not quite sure what's going on over there. Jensen got the base hit, and now coaches and maybe one of the trainers coming over there to talk to her.
Well, we saw Nakamura get tied up a little bit on a runner in that first game where she had her foot a little bit on the bag. See her take off, and looks okay. Kind of looked like she pulled. Yeah, it looked like she pulled a muscle. No contact or anything at first base. Yeah, you can just sort of see the grimace there right away. Little trot, see if she's okay. Jensen, the first base hit of the ball game. So a couple quick, they're not waiting much on pitches, Scotty. Those Partain offered a one near the fence. And it's Jensen with the base hit.
So one down, one aboard for Den Hartog. It's the ball foul on the third base side. Den Hartog comes in hitting, get this, 425 on the season. Leader in home runs and RBIs with 7 and 26 apiece.
Yeah, she has been unreal so far this season. A team that's 14-9-1.
Nice pitch down by Dino. Strike called. Well, we talked about the fact they have not played a single home game. They have played 18 games at quote-unquote neutral sites and only 6 true away games. This would make 7 against Hawaii, but no home games yet. And nothing in 2 pitch. Fastball a bit outside.
Head coach Jamie Traxel, his 3rd season. And what a second season she had, taking this team to the World Series. They lost the first matchup against eventual national champion UCLA. It was at Iowa State for a little while. And also a couple seasons, 6 seasons at North Dakota State. North Dakota State, they're like an athletic powerhouse, right? I mean, it's pretty unbelievable.
Football, they've won like 5 straight championships. High pop-up in the shallow center field. In comes Rossi, and they're 2 down. I think it's important for Dino and Hawaii to try to have a clean top of the first inning. We saw in the first game, Texas Tech scored in the top of the first, and Hawaii never was able to recover after that. So 2 down, runner at first base. Here's the cleanup hitter, Emily Hansen, the first baseman.
So a couple big flies there to Rossi in center field. That was a huge out on Den Hartog. Early in the count, Scott, they're hit ready. If you're shot ready in basketball, these guys are hit ready.
Hansen out of Buffalo, Minnesota. Majority of these players are from the Midwest. Minnesota, Wisconsin. You got a couple of players from Utah and Nevada, and a player from Oregon. A lot of local kids. The nothing in 1 pitch misses away, which begs to ask the question: what is high school softball like? They must play. Well, they must play later on in the year, right? I don't think they're playing softball right now, are they?
No, I mean you can't.
I don't know.
That's why these guys are out here.
High pop-up in the left field. Coming in, Soma makes the catch. And a good first inning for Izzy Dino after half an inning. Minnesota nothing. And Hawaii coming to the plate. Let's take a look at Hawaii's starting lineup. Rossi, Inoue, and Kaupe, the top three. Heen will back cleanup, followed by Ramos and Nakamura. And the bottom third, St. Laurent, Rivera, and Soma. The outfield for the Golden Gophers from left to right, Den Hartog, Vanderhyde, and Jones. It's Kemet Mueller over at third, Brandt the shortstop at second, Partain, Hansen at first, and the catcher is Strelo. And in the circle, you mentioned they have a 1-2 punch. We're getting the second punch. It's Autumn Pease, who checks in with a 4-2 mark on the year. Pease, a very good pitcher, they have 1.99 ERA on their 9 appearances, 4-2 on the year, 59 strikeouts and only 8 walks. That's really impressive.
Yeah, she's a nice get. The transfer from Idaho State, spent her freshman year there, was all Big Sky, all conference, 10-5 on the season, and found a nice little spot here.
I want to ask you, though, Hawaii played a game before this, so they're pretty warmed up. Is that an advantage, do you think, in the second game of a doubleheader to the team that just played?
For sure, especially as a hitter. It's sort of like being in tournament-style ball. You've seen so many pitches. You're kind of used to the lighting. I think from a hitter standpoint, that ball just buzzing. Rossi on the inside. But, it's interesting to watch Minnesota. I mean, they first pitch swinging, first 3 hitters. So,
yeah, they were pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, they've been out here for like 3 hours. They were out here during the rain delay that started that Texas Tech Hawaii game. 2-0 the count to Rossi. That one finds the strike zone. I think Peace is one of those cases where you look at people talking about the transfer portal and things like that. She goes from a smaller school at Idaho State, has a terrific freshman year, and then boom, she's gone, and she goes to a Power 5 school at Minnesota. I know there are a lot of people that don't like that. Slow roller out toward short. Grant quickly brings it to first in time.
That's what a lot of the mid-majors are worried about, right? Losing their kids to Power 5s. I don't think that's going to happen that much. I mean, there may be some, obviously it's happened in this situation, but, she's yet to play in league situations. And I don't know that you can, I'm kind of for the transfer rule. As a coach, I understand all sides of that, but, kids don't want to be there. It gets a little tricky down the road career-wise.
Here's Kaylee Inoue. Freshman out of St. Francis. First pitch swing. Fouls that one back.
He's good velocity. Back to her. Of course, their number one here is Amber Pfizer. Pfizer had 31 wins on the season last year as an All-American. So it's also nice to come in that situation. 31 wins. That's, so
that's more some teams have.
Yeah, so you can kind of ease your way in here and learn a lot from a player like that. And
Kaylee Inoue is one of the bright spots in that first game. Had a couple of hits, including a double.
Yeah, she hit the ball hard, and she's so compact. I mean, the pop in her bat is somewhat surprising. I think she's pretty fit for an incoming freshman, pretty committed to the weight room, and just has sort of a confidence about her.
If you were watching the first game, Hawaii fell 5-0 to Texas Tech. UH now 9-14 on the season. The 1-1 off speed falls in for a strike.
Yeah, that's a nice pitch. These guys were supposed to be going to a luau. I started scrolling in my head whether they were still having luau's in Hawaii, so I'll have to follow up on that.
They don't have buffets in Las Vegas.
They were doing the Pearl Harbor thing. They were going to do the whole deal, and very excited to get here. Apparently, Pfizer, the ace, has been working on the coach to come out here for a long time. They were thinking about going to the tournament in Mexico and finally get out here this season.
Well, so I'm really disappointed because I read between innings the Hapalua half marathon was canceled, and I was
all
so
that
ready.
Training.
I know. I'm really disappointed. Here's the 2-2. Staying alive is Kaylee Inoue. She's had some really nice at-bats today. Yeah, so I have until September. They postponed.
Oh, you've got a little
time.
Don't overtrain.
I don't think I can peak again, though.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
Tapering, peak, it's hard. All that managing, all that.
We'll figure it out, I guess.
We will. In the meantime, you got some broadcasts coming up. Keep you busy.
Keep our fingers crossed on that one.
2-2 to Kaylee Inoue.
Keys with the pitch.
Got some pop. Kind of tells sort of the difference in game number 1. Piece velocity. Pretty good. She yanked one already to the back. That keep you loose in the batter's box, too.
We talked about in the first game that Hawaii's most productive inning in a ball game is typically, or is, the first. They've scored the most runs in the first inning. See if Hawaii can do something against Autumn Pease. Mentioned she started her career at Idaho State, but she's from California, Murrieta.
Yeah, you know, you see a lot of that in the Power 5 conferences. Of course, the West Coast pretty happy about the fact that the national championship back on the West Coast. It had been a while. So UCLA winning last season, and of course UW up in the top 5. I believe 3 Pac-12 teams in the top 5 rankings right now. So it's, you know, it's competitive, but certainly the Alabamas and, you know, a lot of the teams now from those Power 5 conferences not always on the West Coast. Texas, too, having a really good year this season.
Well, I think the power has swung around, and it's been a while. It's been like that.
Yeah, it has been.
That one hit into left field. It'll drop in for a base hit. Okay, Illinois with the 3rd hit of the doubleheader. A one-out single here in the first inning. And a good at-bat by her as well.
Yeah, what a good at-bat, right? Fighting pitches off. That ball down in the zone, just tracks it, barrels it. Illinois aboard. She has been really a bright spot in the top of this lineup. Takes a fair amount of pitches, too. I could see her being in the 1 or 2 spot in that lineup. As that sort of sorts out as we move along in the season.
Well, you talk about transfers. Here's Navai Kaupe, but she went from a Power 5 to UH, and she fouls that first pitch out of play, the shortstop. And Hawaii's very happy she decided to come back home, hitting .348 on the year, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs.
Yeah, she's had some deep pitch count at bats in that first game.
Pease's pitch.
Kind of amazing, you know, you watch a lot of even our neighbor island kids like Kaupe from Maui, the ability to step into these programs and swing the bat, I think is something that's different. A lot of the, you know, Jocelyn Alo, Agbayani, you know, a lot of these kids that are coming out of high school here are playing on the mainland, right? Summer ball on the mainland, which makes a really big difference.
That one is ripped. That one is out of here. A 2-run home run by Navai Kaupe, and Hawaii leads it here in the first.
You called it. First inning is the best inning for the Rainbows so far this season. And Kaupe just was swinging the bat well tonight. Just was into that sort of just missing mode. She missed nothing about this pitch. I thought this ball may get over that screen in left field. This ball was knocked.
That ball was hit 2/3 of the way up that screen, which was put in last year, even higher. Some balls wouldn't go into the tennis courts, and there was no doubt once that one left the bat, it was out of here. 2-run home run for Kaupe, her 7th home run on the year. And Hawaii takes the early 2-0 lead here in the first inning. And here's Callie Heen, the catcher. Much different feel already to this game than we saw in the first game.
Yeah, that'll get your attention. And, you know, that ball didn't just get over the fence. That ball was rocketed. And then you got Callie Heen stepping in.
That home run, by the way, ties her with Callie Heen for the team lead. And RBIs 14 and 15 for Kaupe. Hawaii gets the Peas here early in the first inning.
You know, I also think it's kind of amazing, Scott, how many of these programs are, you know, come out of the weather. They play in these, you know, they come out, but it's the facilities must be really off the hook for them to be able to go from indoor to outdoor, because it's difficult, you know. And they do spend a lot of times, obviously, in good weather, 4 tournaments in a row sometimes, just to get ready for their own seasons. And oftentimes they don't get all the games in.
Well, you know, our producer, Candice Fujishima, played at the University of Indiana, where it's a little cold, and she was an all-Big Ten outfielder, and she said we always had to play in the field house or whatever it's called, the indoor facility. You just can't go outside and play this time of year. You can, but you'll freeze to death. 3-0 pitch outside, ball 4.
3 good at bats in a row here.
All right, let's check out now the first Hawaiian Bank top 3 in its Big West home runs. And there you see Hawaii coming into today. They were 2 back. They're 1 back. I don't know if UC Davis played today or not, but Hawaii now with 28 home runs after that knock by Kaupe, and UC Riverside with 21. So the Big West looks like they're swinging the bat pretty well. Cheeks Ramos, the batter. Who would you say is the favorite right now in the Big West as we get ready for conference play after this?
You know, CSUN was actually got off probably to the quickest start. May have one of the better pitching staffs, but I mean, you know, Long Beach State,
Cal State
Fullerton is pretty much the top.
Same
always
suspects.
been the top. It's funny because Fullerton's been good since the Judy Garman days, and I thought once Judy Garman retired, you know, that program, but you know, there's a lot of history there, baseball and softball in that area. They continue to have a premier tournament in the preseason and to find players that can play.
And there you see Amber Pfizer warming up in the bullpen. One of the top pitchers in the country. Some say maybe the best.
Yeah, she's the active leader in strikeouts now that Garcia from UCLA is on the Olympic team.
Off-speed pitch, swung on a miss by Ramos.
Which is going to be interesting, right? They're all Bubba Nichols and Garcia. They're taking, you know, redshirt year, right? Because they're playing with the national team. So what happens, you know, with all this Olympic stuff going on?
Who knows?
Do they return, you know, back to school? Or it'll be interesting to watch all that.
With the coronavirus, I mean, everything is fluid minute by minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be.
Every time you look at your phone, something else is gone.
Yeah, don't look.
Yeah, that's pretty
Just
much.
don't look.
Don't look and wash your hands, right?
And apparently find toilet paper somewhere. That's it. See Ramos trying to catch up with this pitch a little bit. She'll do that once in a while when she's maybe struggling a little bit. Working also with somebody who's struggling to find the plate in peace. So Cheeks going to all the tricks.
Hawaii with a big 2-run home run by Navai Kaupe with the lead here in the first inning. Almost trying to extend things. The run over at first base and only 1 away.
Pitch inside part of the plate, just missed. Ramos has one of the better eyes at the plate. We talk about Callie Heen, of course, having a great eye at the plate, almost sometimes too good. Super disciplined in the way she...
Though, believe it or not, Ramos has not walked this year.
Yeah, she doesn't swing in a ton of bad pitches, though. She fights a lot of stuff off, you know.
But that's amazing to me, that she has not had a single base on balls all season long. And she's played just about every game.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And she's only struck out 8 times also.
Yeah, that's... Sort of rather than take a ball, Ramos seems to like to foul it off. You know? Never trust the umpire type mentality.
She hasn't walked and she's hitting 300.
Yeah,
and that's unrare. That's rare. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ramos, making Keys work hard here in the opening frame.
A bit of delay here in taking that signal.
That one lofted in the left field. It drops in for a base hit. Beyond Brandt. That was one of those where you kind of had to hold your breath waiting to see if Brandt would get it or not. She could not in Hawaii with 3 hits here in the first inning.
I was almost waiting for Carly Brandt to maybe take a dive at this, but it was sort of too low for her to do that. Tracked it a bit, and that ball just bouncing in between the left fielder and Brandt for the base hit. 3rd hit of the inning.
Well, we talked about Hawaii having already played a game, got that under their belt. Despite the fact they were shut out, they were able to get some swings in. And it's paid off here in this one. Check swing foul off the bat of Nakamura. Maya Nakamura, the first baseman, played first in the first game. Nakamura was 0 for 3 in that one.
Yeah, hit a ball hard to left field, right at the left fielder. So she's making contact, just not finding the holes.
Hanover at second. Ramos at first. One away, two across. Good eye. Oh, I called that a strike. I think everybody in the ballpark thought that was a bit outside.
Malcolm not one to bark at the umpire. Pretty disciplined. When you go back to that first game, obviously didn't score, but did leave 9 runners aboard.
They left a lot of runners on
it was the
base.
timely hitting that they were missing. But after that ball hard, low, and away. And now she has to hit 0-2 off of that tough call. It looked like it was up and away. He's one of those players you feel like you're waiting a long time if you're in the batter's box. That's that. You don't want to come into your stance too early. It takes her a while. It is a 20-second pitch clock, but
that's what they tell us.
She steps on. It just takes a little longer to get that sign. This one a little quicker.
That one misses inside. Well, you can time between pitches with a sundial almost, because it's pretty slow between pitches for Autumn Pease. Where you look at Izzy Dino and she's at the bit, she's ready to go as soon as the ball's fired back in her glove. She's very deliberate. And the 2-2. Popped up in the infield. The second baseman Partain near the bag makes the catch for out number 2.
Nakamura just getting a little bit jammed here. It was an infield fly. Not sure I'm assuming that's what was called.
Should have been.
Didn't see a big wave, but it would have been the right call. So.
And here's Rachel Sabourin getting the start at second base. Saw her as a designated hitter in the first game. Had a hit in 3 plate appearances. A freshman out of Centennial, Colorado. Still 2 aboard, but 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning, and fouls that one straight back.
Yeah, Sabourin coming back for a little injury. Looks pretty good. Hitting the start at second base and then back into this doubleheader. Was just hit in that first game.
Hitting an even 300 on the season.
A pitch down and in, close. A little frustration from Autumn Pease. Trying to figure out the strike zone early in this ball game.
So 1-1 to Sabourin. Chops that one foul at the plate. So I'm guessing Minnesota probably came in from the West Coast yesterday. So that's not a big deal. It's not like they flew in from Minneapolis. They were in LA, or it's a 3-hour time difference.
Yeah, they had a little time yesterday, I think, at the hotel, and
I've always found it easier to fly west than east in terms of your body and all that kind of stuff. 1-2. High ball 2.
See the velocity. Hawaii almost handling that a little better than in the first game, where Edmondson seemed to give him a little more junk, worked all 4 zones pretty effectively, and certainly the lefties struggled with her a bit.
And she gets the strikeout on the swing and the miss. Throw down the first for extra measure. First strikeout for Pease, but a big first for Hawaii as Navai Kaupe comes to the plate with a runner on board and hits that one way out of here for her 7th home run of the year, and it's 2-0 Hawaii after 1. Back in Manoa, second inning, a 2-run home run by Kaupe. Puts Hawaii in the lead. Izzy Dino with the lead now. She heads out into the circle to begin the second inning. Strelo, Kemet Mueller, and Jones. 5, 6, and 7 in the order for Minnesota. Strelo, the freshman of Kenosha, Wisconsin, will step in. Hitting .286 on the year. Does have a home run and 16 RBIs.
Dino got to be feeling pretty good. Got a 2-run spot. Had a pretty good first inning.
Now, the last broadcast we had, you talked to Bob Coolin about calling pitches, and you think in this situation he's letting, since Callie Kane is behind the plate, she is calling this game, right?
Yeah.
1-0 pitch. Fastball a bit high and outside.
So you see all the levers from Izzy Dino. Let's roll this back, though. How is that helmet? How is the Gopher?
That's cool.
You love that, right? That
sure,
mascot?
Why not?
Really nice, sweet white helmets. Nice uniforms on both sides. The dark pants we saw Texas
You really
Tech
like,
earlier.
You are.
I like the uniform.
You're into uniform.
I am into uniform. Look at everything going on there. You know, the matching. What do we have? Guns out on the other elbow protectors. I mean, there's a lot of gear here. If you're into gear, it's right here.
You ever seen the Gopher?
See the scrunchies? Yeah, I think I have.
I have.
In the mainland. There's a lot of these
possums,
and you don't even know, like raccoons. They're all just like a big, it's kind of, they're similar. Like beavers. It's just large things that, if they have babies, you turn and run kind of thing. That's pretty much the rule of thumb.
We have mongoose. That's our,
and
Gopher,
that's
right?
a blessing.
So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Sydney Strelo. Gophers 14, 9, and 1 on the year. They have one tie because of time constraints in their final game in California earlier this week.
Yeah, I saw that. They had to hop on a plane, I think.
So down at first is Strelo. And I'll bring up Kemet Mueller. Kemet Mueller only hitting a .191, so you look at that and you think, okay, well, maybe she's going to try to move the runner over somehow, hitting in the 6th spot.
This team doesn't run as much as Texas Tech, but they do efficiently. 17 and 19 on the season. 6 of those coming from Partain and Vanderhyde with 5. So
Kemet Mueller with a couple of home runs and 8 RBI on the year. Nice pitch, big swing and a miss. Hawaii 20th in the country in turning double plays. Love to get a ground ball right here in turn 2.
That's an impressive statistic. Something, up the middle. They struggled a little bit up the middle in years past. They've solidified it, both Nakamura at second base and Saborn.
The Hawaii came into this doubleheader with not real impressive fielding percentage, .951. But that's because the opening weekend they were kicking the ball all over the place.
Yeah, they were. They were, weren't they? They have settled down, though. I think defensively they're going to be in pretty good shape by the time league starts. This isn't a team that sacrifices much. You look at their 3 sacrifices on the season. Kind of interesting, much different than Texas Tech. The screen has been put up here to make it safer. This one up and over.
Look out.
Huh? Quick move there.
That one lofted into shallow center. Actually, the second baseman will make the grab.
Saborn with the out behind the second base. She and Nevi Kaupe kind of jostled for that.
We see Saborn getting the start here at second base. We've seen others at second base. Is there a second baseman?
I think Saborn. I think that's if Coolin. I think also the versatility of Khalid Noy to be able to play other positions. You can get them both in the lineup for their bats.
Kiana Jones, the right fielder, the batter. One down. First pitch swinging. Fouls that one off.
That's a good pitch by Izzy Dino. That's the pitch that we kind of became accustomed to seeing. Has kind of a late break. It's a hard drop ball. But remember, you know, she's pretty tall, about 5'10" is Dina. So
I thought she's listed at 6'2".
is she?
Yeah, she's 6 feet.
I don't know.
6'1",
Maybe 6 feet.
No, she's probably close to 6'2", like she's
Well,
listed.
Hitchcock was pretty tall. She was taller than Hitchcock. So, yeah. But there's a lot of levers there. And so you got to kind of control them. And sometimes they can get away from you a bit. So she's just trying to sort of tighten that up.
Well, she's got Jones in a hole, 0-2. Can she put her away? Comebacker, gets it, throws it, rolls it over to first. Does she get it there in time? No. And that's another example of where Dino really struggles fielding her position. She doesn't have faith in throwing the ball overhand to first, and so it doesn't work out.
Yeah, she's going to have to throw this. At least she flags it in the circle, but right here, she's going to have to plant and throw that overhand. At some point in time, she's going to have to make that transition and trust it a little bit. It was a good play to knock it down. As you know, when you're 6'2", it's a long way down there, but
I wouldn't know. And they will charge an error to Izzy Dino. I think that's a good call.
yeah.
And that's one thing. I mean, if you're going to be a pitcher in the circle, you've got to be able to field your position.
You see it a lot, though. You would be surprised in softball. I'm not sure it's the same in baseball. It isn't because you throw overhand, but you know, I played with a pitcher who was unbelievably talented, and she used to run the ball to me.
Let's take a look at this once again.
Oh, you know, she avoided Nakamura at first base, and she should have been out.
Yeah, she slowed up.
I think that it was confusing for John Park a little bit.
Probably.
Like avoiding the foot. I don't know. That was an awkward play by the base runner.
Yeah, she didn't run through the bag, that's for sure.
I remember thinking it was closer. It looked odd, but not sure why. So a break there for the Gophers.
0-2 to Brandt. Calpe goes to third, gets the force out. Nice put out right there. Calpe over to Ramos. The sidearm throw.
And not an easy throw. She's moving forward and flicking that backward, thumbs down, almost like a double play ball. Stays low. Wow. She's so smooth.
Looked like an option quarterback.
It did, yeah. It's a little...
Still 2 aboard, but 2 outs for the number 9 hitter. Brooke Vanderhyde, center fielder.
Callahan knows she's been in a game already. That's the hardest thing about sort of rallying up to catch a drop ball pitcher. I remember even with Hitchcock, you know, when you get a good drop ball pitcher, you're taking a lot of short hops in the dirt, get a little beat up back there.
Here you see Vanderhyde out of Sandy, Utah. Dino looks like she throws a little bit harder than she did a year ago. She got a little stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's certainly built for the position, you know. She's very methodical. She works hard.
Grew up in Canada. Always wanted to play for the University of Hawaii. Came here as a youngster for some kind of a softball tournament. And came over and took a look at the then Rainbow Wakine softball stadium and took a picture in front and said, I'd like to come here someday and pitch.
Yeah, it's
and
a great
worked
story.
Out. Yeah, it's a great story. When she got recruited by Bob Coolin, she still had that picture from when she was 8 years old and showed it to the coach.
And he said, okay, 6'2".
I guess it's meant to be.
You know,
Here's ball 4. And quietly now the Gophers have the bases loaded with 2 away. First walk issued by Dino as we head to the top of the order. And McKenna Partain flied out to center field last inning. 2-0 Hawaii on the Calpe home run. Gophers trying to answer back. Partain comes into this game hitting .360 on the season. And the pitch misses away. Got some pop as well, 4 home runs. He's got 19 runs driven in. Time called. Here comes Bob Coolin. Going out there to have a couple of words with his pitcher. One thing about Bob, he doesn't mince words. He says exactly how he feels and what he wants.
Yeah, he does. And when he goes out, he's got something to say. It's not just sort of to reset you necessarily. He usually has something technical to say.
He's probably saying, you just need one more pitch to get out of this inning.
Yeah, just kind of keep her in it a little bit. She's done some good things. And this is a situation where she's kind of built for the ground ball, right?
So you got Jones at third, Brandt at second, and Vanderhyde at first, but 2 away.
Partain is sort of the iron woman of this group. She has 200 career starts, most of them at second base. She's third in career runs at 184 and sixth in career doubles with 49.
Yeah, there's a big bio under her name with a lot of things she has done throughout her career. High pop-up into left center. Who will get it? It'll be Soma, the left fielder. And there's out number 3. So Hawaii avoids trouble in the top of the second, and they lead it 2-0. All right, let's go inside the numbers presented by Heineken. 4.51. That is the Minnesota pitching staff strikeout to walk ratio this season. That's 5th best in the NCAA, and they are very good at pitching, and that even makes that home run by Navai Kaupe more important in the first inning. You see continued activity in the bullpen with Amber Pfizer, the ace of the staff.
Pfizer with 805 strikeouts in her career. That's fifth in program history, but she was a first-team All-American Honda Cup Award finalist and the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year last year.
Not too shabby. Here's Mama Rivera getting the start as a designated hitter. Came in as a pinch hitter against Texas Tech in the first game. Hawaii falling to the Red Raiders 5-0. Rivera followed by Soma. And then we'll head to the top of the order and Brittany Rossi. 0-1 the count. 0-2.
Starting to look a little bit fresher in that pitching circle is Pease. We saw that changeup strikeout on Sabrin to end the inning for the Wahine and sort of pick it up where she left off here. A little more movement, a little more precise.
The 0-2.
Yeah, I've been talking about the other team's uniforms. What do you think about the Wahine uniforms?
I'm not a big fan of black for UH Sports, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I think we old people all kind of say that because we're used to.
Well, every team has black.
Yeah, well, it's that mean color.
Last Saturday, Cal Poly played against Hawaii. Cal Poly's colors are similar to Hawaii, and they look like Long Beach State. They had black and like yellow uniforms. By the way, congratulations to the Rainbow Wahine. Winners earlier today over Cal State Fullerton, 72-59. They advanced to Friday's matchup with UC Santa Barbara. They kind of got a break because Cal Poly has won 2 games. They don't have to meet up with UC Davis in the semis.
Yeah, no,
they meet up with UCSB.
It's set up pretty nicely for them. UCSB, of course, winning on the last shot of the ball game, the last second shot by Danae Miller here at the Stan Sheriff. It kind of sucked the wind out of the sails of the Wahine to put a good game together against Cal Poly. So I think that's a pretty good matchup for the way. I think they're set up, they're set up pretty well here. And of course, they ended up meeting Davis last year in the conference championship, and we're up by 15. Ended up losing in a heartbreaker. So,
and don't forget the men play tomorrow.
Against Davis, I believe, right?
I'm sorry.
Against Davis.
Yes, UC Davis. 2-2 to Mama Rivera. An off-speed pitch. Swung on a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Pease. First out recorded here in the second inning, and she was way out in front of that one.
Yeah, I think both these strikeouts have come on that. Ooh, that's wicked. Couldn't tell if that was a flip change, but look at the rotation. So that's sort of the thumb thumb away, kind of almost like volleyball, right? Where she's pushing that in the other direction. That's really deceptive.
Soma's first plate appearance, the number 9 hitter, left fielder. Takes a big swing right there. Had a base hit in the final inning in the first game. Went 1 for 3 against Texas Tech. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Minnesota, no runs, a hit, and no errors.
Minnesota, pretty much just these 2 pitchers that we talked about. A lot of these teams having 4 or 5 pitchers.
Popped up out towards shallow left. The shortstop goes a long way, and Brandt gets to it near the line. I mean, she really had to travel.
It's kind of funny, as I was perusing these pitching statistics, it's Carly Brandt actually is 1-0 on the season in the pitching circle, the shortstop. But the bulk of the duty will be Autumn Peace and Amber Pfizer.
And really, the top level programs pretty much 1 or 2 starters. And everybody else.
A little bit more, you know, I would just say literally in the last 2 years. But when it comes to, like, you know, the end, but I think throughout the course of the season, there's maybe 3 or 4, you know, they're trying to get innings out of people. They're trying to rest.
Yeah, the big guns.
You know, but I mean, Pfizer had 31 wins last season. That's
amazing.
Crazy.
That's a lot.
So
here's Brittany Rossi. Rossi grounded out last inning, 0 for 1.
So maybe it's more of sort of a workload thing, you know, where they're trying to rest, you know, give them a little bit of a break in terms of pitch count. That ball broke off hard inside.
Pfizer's been warming up for the entire game almost. I mean, she's got to be warm by now.
I feel like Rossi's due.
Went hitless in the first game, 0 for 4. Takes a strike right there. Even though it says 0-0 on your screen, it's 2-0 Hawaii, just to let you know. Levi Kaupe with a 2-run home run in the first inning. 1-2, back up the middle into center field for a base hit. And right on cue, Lori. You said she's due, and she got the base hit.
I think those were the odds. Rossi, the leadoff hitter, a good hitter, and she would be in that spot for Bob Cooley. She has a lot of pop on her bat, so that's not a great pitch, right? Just kind of pounds it into the ground. We've seen that with her. There are times when she'll get jammed for periods of time where she's kind of fisting some balls off.
And Kaena Kali'inoi, who's had a good day between the first game and this one. Singled back in the first, scored on the home run. Ball gets away, going down to second will be Rossi.
Yeah, she's had the best day in the group for sure. I mean, Kaupe with the bomb in this game, but numbers-wise, I just think it's unbelievable how she changes defensive positions at this level already as a freshman, including behind the plate.
They ruled out a pass ball on Stradle, the catcher.
She's not going to like that.
I never understood why they don't call that an error, because scorekeeping purposes, it's like an error.
You're right.
Good swing right there by Kali'inoi. You get the feeling it's going to be fun watching this young lady throughout her Rainbow Wahine career. She's only a freshman, and we've seen what she can do. Hitting near 300 now. Got a little pop.
And just sort of where she's going to end up, she's going to find a home defensively. Or if they'll use her, you know, as a utility.
She hits that one high in the air and to the left, but got a bit under it, and Den Hartog will make the grab. So after 2 in Manoa, 2-0 Hawaii.
Rainbow Wahine Softball on Spectrum Sports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii, your Hawaii Honda dealers, and Heineken. Rainbow Wahine Softball on Spectrum Sports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii, your Hawaii Honda dealers, and Heineken.
Back at the Rainbow Wahine Softball Stadium as we head to the third inning. 2-0 Hawaii leads the University of Minnesota. The Gophers ranked number 19 in the country. And Izzy Dino beginning her third inning of work. Did a nice job last inning, pitching herself out of some trouble. Bases loaded situation, but did not give up a run. And she'll see 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Ellie Jensen, Natalie Den-Hartog, and Emily Hansen. Jensen, interesting. She missed almost all of last season and the first 4 weeks of this season with an injury. So slowly starting to come back for the Gophers.
Saw the wheels. She legged out a base hit in that first inning and did pull up a little bit, though, so it sort of makes you wonder if she's completely recovered.
I mean, this is only her third game back. Slaps that one in the air and left. Right there, Soma only had to take a step back. And one down. Yeah, I'm sure they're being extra cautious with Jensen, right? Get a good look right there. Lights off at the tennis courts.
Getting ready for you tomorrow.
Knock on wood. The weather cooperates.
What does your Doppler say?
Doppler doesn't go that far into the future.
For those of you that don't know, Scott Robbs he's a little bit of a weather.
I'm a weather nerd.
A weather nerd.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, it's pretty good when you got this gig. You got to know what's going on. Got to know what to expect.
I know how to dress appropriately. I just wear the same stuff every time, whether it's raining or sunny. Here's
Same hairdo too.
Same hairdo. I never have a bad hair day, but I never have a good one either. Here's Den-Hartog, flat out to center, back in the first.
Big at bat here. That was a nice pitch up in the strike zone. Just painted it.
Ground ball out to short. Oh, right through the wickets of Kaupe. A rare mistake by her. That will definitely be an E6, I would assume.
She's so cat quick. What was weird is this took a little bit of a bigger hop, but she was moving laterally and not really moving forward. Again, drop ball hitter, and that just squeaks away through the wickets of Navai Kaupe.
And it will be an error charge to her. First, or make that second error by Hawaii.
She's been so good tonight, too,
really
Scott.
good.
She has been. She's made all the plays and all the throws.
So the cleanup hitter, Emily Hansen, the first baseman, flied out to left. Back in the first. Flies that one out to fairly deep left, but over there is Soma. Covers ground quickly and gets it back in.
Bree Soma pretty textbook out in left field. She always does a nice job of swinging her feet around. So as a left-hander in left field, when she has to set her feet towards second base, she really circles on the ball aggressively. I always like that about her.
Well, also
not lazy.
She gets a good read off the bat.
She does, and
she really does.
And she doesn't get lazy on stuff. She always sets up her throws.
So here's Sydney Strelo. Walked to lead off the second inning, got as far as second base. There goes the runner. Here comes the throw. Do they get her? No. Sliding in safely is Den-Hartog with the stolen base.
I'll tell you what, Izzy Dino, that mask almost got tested right there. You mentioned listed at 6'2". Callie Heen comes up throwing here, and Dino barely getting out of the way.
Well, for the latest information on UH Athletics, as we take a look at this one more time, we'll throw a little off the line and good slide there. Go to HawaiiAthletics.com for UH news, tickets, videos, and more. You can also visit UH's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube sites to follow your favorite teams and get current fan promotions. Fly ball out to left. There's Soma once again. All 3 outs recorded by Hawaii's left fielder. And after 2.5, 2-0 Hawaii. Tao from the Hawaiian Style Cafe in Hilo makes the Fresh Market Special about the full array of fresh seafood on the next Cooking Hawaiian Style, Monday night at 7 exclusively on Spectrum OC16. Head to the home half of the third inning, and the young lady responsible for Hawaii's 2 runs will lead things off. Navai Kaupe, the shortstop, hit an absolute bomb over the wall in left center in the first inning.
That was big. It was
a big home run.
That was a monster.
And the first pitch, off speed, swung and a miss. Let's go back to inning number 1, and that at bat by Navai Kaupe. As soon as he left the bat, you knew it was going to be gone. You just didn't know how far it would travel. And luckily there was a net there.
But we can't even get that in either of our cameras. That thing is all the way up. You know when it comes straight down like that and lands like it did, that it was towering.
That was more than 2/3 of the way up that
Kelly
net.
made him like, yeah, the old net, that would have been to the dorm over there.
That's been the offense so far.
And then saw change up on their next pitch in the next at bat. This part of the lineup, I mean, this matches up with anybody we've seen. You know, you get to Kaupe and Callie Heen and even Ramos. It's a tough 3, 4, 5.
You get the feeling, though, 2-0 is not going to be enough. There's another off-speed pitch, and way out in front of it is Kaupe. Though, Dino's pitching well.
It'll be interesting, too, to see, you know, how far she goes, and then maybe we see Emily Clean again.
Good.
You know, I don't know what her pitch count has been in the bullpen. Maybe she, you know, not sure what kind of gas she's got left, but she did a nice job in the follow-up.
That one is a called strike 3. Kaupe goes down looking. Third strikeout for Pease. 1 down here in the third inning. Time now for the Jack Fact, which is Callie's Callie Heen in the NCAA rankings. 7 home runs, tied for 41st. 1.05 RBIs, tied for 67th, and that slugging percentage, 88th best in the entire NCAA. First pitch swinging, bouncer over the mound. The second baseman, Partain, will not get it there in time.
The thumbs up here. I thought that was going to eat up the second baseman. It's so high in the air coming off the bat of Heen, and Partain does a nice job of fighting it off. Just can't quite make the throw.
So an infield single for Heen. 5th for Hawaii in this game.
Just the pop on the bat, you know, catches the end of it and turns it into a base hit. It's not a hard infield.
No, it's not. Not after the rain we had earlier. Cheeks Ramos. First pitch swinging, fouls it out of play.
Almost kind of sizing it up, but I feel like it slowed her swing down a tad. She's shortening it up by doing that, but sometimes, you know, she's been flaring stuff off to the right, so we'll see if she speeds that up a little bit.
Boy, with their 5th hit here in the bottom of the third inning, they had 5 in the entire Texas Tech game. Texas Tech beating Hawaii 5-0. A liner right to second. Partain handles it, and there's 2 away.
That was close. I thought Heen almost going to get doubled up there. Ramos hits this right on the nose. Partain takes care of it. Heen back safely at first.
Ryan Nakamura, the first baseman. Let's see if she can keep the inning alive for Hawaii. Popped out to second, back in the first.
Been working her on the inside part of the plate. Ball gets by the catcher. Heen advances. What will that be, Scott? Won't be an error.
I have to wait for the official scorekeeper. I think they're going to call it a wild pitch. Let's take a look at this again.
The ex-shortstop over there said it was in the dirt.
And it was. And it is a wild pitch.
They're hard on their pitchers sometimes. Or their catchers, I should say.
RBI chance right here for Nakamura. She gives a solid base hit. Could probably bring in Heen from second.
Yeah, she needs to get some extension here. Nakamura's been jammed a little bit in this series. Let's see if she can get her hands out, find something over the other half of the plate.
Way outside.
Strehler, nice job of just getting up onto her feet, jumped up to get that pitch.
Again, high and outside.
So it's interesting there as you watch the catcher and the pitcher getting the signal from the dugout. The catchers get to give, oftentimes the number back out to the infield, not necessarily to the pitcher. So it's a process.
Seems to take a while. 3 balls and 1 strike to Nakamura. Swings and misses off speed delivery.
That pitch has been so good for Peace. We saw that against Calpe in her last at bat as well. You can pull that string. That's still one of the best pitches in softball or baseball. You know that.
Absolutely. The changeup. Yep. I agree. Payoff pitch to Nakamura. Pops that one up. Foul territory. First base side is there room, and unable to get to it is Hansen.
Well, it's kind of interesting too. The best of the best, you would maybe term it off speed, just the change of speeds, right? When you have like the 3 change of speeds, then it's, and a lot of times in softball it'll go rise ball, and then it'll be off speed drop and change up, right? Usually it's a drop ball that's easier to change speeds because of the way you throw it, but even anything off speed is still super effective.
And ball 4, good at bat by Nakamura, draws the second walk. And now we got a run down back at second, and they get Heen. Heen not paying attention. Gets tagged out, trying to get back to the bag at second. Now end things for Hawaii in the bottom of the third, but they still lead 2-0. Well, let's take a look at the McDonald's game summary through 3 innings, and both Hawaii players there on the board. Navai Calpe with that 2-run home run back in the first inning. And how about Izzy Dino in the circle? Has only given up a hit in 3 innings, has walked a pair, has yet to strike out a batter. But go back to the bottom half of the third inning, and Callie Heen caught napping, I guess you could say, over at second base. I'm not quite sure what was going on there.
I don't know if she was looking to maybe advance because the third baseman was off the base, but the catcher makes a nice play. It goes from 2 to 5, and then the catcher on the backside trying to sneak back into second base. Base running error. Nice play by Strelo, the catcher, to start that off.
Kaylin Kemet-Mueller, the third baseman, will lead things off, and she hits one over to third. Nice pickup by Ramos to throw in plenty of time. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the top of the 4th inning.
Good little bounce over there by Ramos. Kept her feet lively on that play. Kind of got an in-between hop. The good hands by Cheeks. The good hands comes from that shortstop position, so she's able to sort of transfer that over. It's more sort of knowing how much to cover to your left. Oh!
Kiana Jones hits one down the left field line and goes foul. At first, I think we thought that both of us thought that was going to get out of the yard, but it didn't.
We had to stick our head out the window there.
Two runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Hawaii through 3 innings. For the number 19 Gophers, no runs, 1 hit, no error. 1 down here, top of the 4th inning. And just a long strike by Jones, the 0-1. Misses low.
I also kind of feel like Callie Heen's doing a good job of settling Izzy Dino down a little bit, and we talked about that whether she would come out and catch the back end of this too, as she caught that first game in the loss against Texas Tech.
The thing with Dino, I think the question is her consistency, because she could be really, really good and then other times really struggle. And, I mean, tonight she's been good, thank goodness.
And she's seeing, she's seeing some good teams. Yeah, and I think part of this is we talked about the fielding a little bit. And the fielding, when you struggle to do that, it affects, those types of things affect everything. So you wonder if that's affected her pitching a little bit, struggling to field some of the balls that have been hit back at her this season. But she's a hard worker.
There's one nice backhand and short by Kaupe. Oh man, that was a quick hit right out to her. Hot shot, and Kaupe handles it.
Wow, that's just leg strength. Watch this. I don't think the glove even touched the ground. Just bounces over there, picks that up. She's still mad about the one that went through her legs, and she
kind of made up for it with that. Let me tell you.
She did.
Carly Brandt, the shortstop. 2 down, bases empty. Shot foul at the plate.
That ball hit on the nose, by the way. But when things start going your way a little bit, that happens too, right?
Sure.
You get the breaks.
At least you hope.
Yeah. I'm with you, though. I think they're going to have to produce a few more runs before this is over. But as we get into the wee hours, Minnesota time, well, I guess even California time. California. But they
haven't been home. This is their 6th straight week on the run. Now, granted, they do go back, and they have to go to class. I mean, think about all the traveling you have to do. Crazy, right? 1-1. That's a nice pitch from Dino.
Dino also works pretty quickly. It's interesting to watch the different halves of this game, right? I mean, P's definitely more methodical, tempo different.
Slow. The 1-2 away. But it's all, when it comes to pitchers, it's all about the pitcher controlling the tempo of the game. And for some pitchers like Dino, they like to work quickly. That's the tempo they like. And other pitchers like Pease, they're more deliberate. Yep. And that's the way they prefer. 0-2 out into center field. There's Rossi. And another good job by Dino. Sets the Gophers down in order here in the 4th. It's still 2-0 Hawaii. Don't forget, visit the new Spectrum stores at Kapolei Commons and the Mililani Town Center. Learn about Spectrum Mobile and get the best devices, latest technology, and coolest accessories. Visit spectrum.com/stores for store hours and directions. Come get connected. As we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, we have a pitching change in the circle, Lori, and look who's out there. Number 13, Amber Pfizer, the senior, out of Van Horn, Iowa. 96 innings thrown, 139 strikeouts, 36 walks, 9-7 on the year, and making her 16th appearance on the year. You see what she did Sunday. That's the game that ended up in a tie with Central Florida, and then they had to call the game because the Gophers had to get on an airplane. But one of the top pitchers in the country, and she can deal, and she'll face the bottom 3rd of the order for Hawaii, Saber and Rivera and Soma.
Probably not happy with that 9-7 record. She only lost 9 games all season last year, 31-9, 1.27 earned run average. You know what you see similar to Garcia? She has that velocity that goes from low to high. So she pulls the ball up so hard with her forearm that she gets that little buzz, or even when the pitch is low, it comes up on you a little bit. In softball, that's sort of when you know you're throwing some gas.
There's some gas, but it's hit down the right field line, hooking foul. It's her 6th relief appearance of the year. She does have the 1 save on the year from Minnesota.
So pretty intentional, I think, here, right? She's been warming up the entire game, so maybe looking to split this game tonight.
Opponent's hitting a .194 against Pfizer. So 0-2, they're sabering. 2-0 Hawaii, bottom of the 4th inning, and that one inside. Check swing, the appeal. No, she did not go around.
John Park over there at first base. Sabering liking this opportunity. This is fun when you're a freshman. That ball inside takes a good cut at it, but it runs in on her hands.
Strikeout number 1, 1 away, and it's Mama Rivera. Or is it?
Yeah, just a little.
It is going to be a pinch hitter for Hawaii. Now we're going to see Sierra Bartolotti, a freshman out of Kapolei. So Sierra Bartolotti.
Sierra Bartolotti, a friend of the weight room, has been for a long time. Super fit. Reminds me a little bit of Shannon Tavion. Played here, was a pitcher in a circle, and that's going to bode well for her down the road. Still super young in terms of this type of competition, but very talented.
Only the 2nd official at bat of the season for her. She's 0 for 1, though she has scored 5 runs. Comes in as a pinch runner occasionally.
I know Bob Coolin, when we talked about sort of what we were going to see, I know he's trying to get her some time. You know, it feels like she's got that potential to help them. Oh, that's a tough pitch.
But how tough is it? You're a freshman, and they come in as a pinch hitter against Pfizer, right?
You're up 2-0. You know, at least you don't feel like you're going to mess it up. You know, you kind of get a freebie here. If they're taking pictures, or there's something going on in the dugout.
The gate door is open or something.
Yeah.
That's Jed Sasaki
Close the
at
gate.
third base. So 1-1 the count to Bartolotti.
She's going to stay there. Nobody offering that pitch. I think that's when you look at really, really good pitchers, Scotty, in softball. It's that we saw that a little bit with Ricketts, where that ball stays about 14 inches off the ground at about 65 miles an hour. You know, that ability to keep it. Most people that height, it's going to be a drop. All the rotation's different because it's hard to get it there. But the ones that are really good just have that ability to throw it super hard and low all the way into the strike zone for spots.
A 3-1, rounded to first. Right there, Hansen steps on the bag for out number 2.
Got her bat on it, Bartolotti.
Is that like a moral victory?
You know what it is. It is when you're facing, in a way, right?
Sure.
I mean, she popped it. I tell you what, she hit some monstrous home runs in high school. I mean, she definitely has the potential to be one of those people in this lineup.
So 2 down, base is empty for Bree Soma. She fouls off the first pitch. All the runs in this one came in the bottom of the first inning on the Levi Calpe home run. Autumn Pease went the first 3 innings for Minnesota. And now you have Amber Pfizer.
Soma 1 for 3 in the first outing against Texas Tech. A couple times left on base.
Right 2.
Not a lot of wasted pitches here around the strike zone. She'll come upstairs and ahead in the count.
Well, if you like softball, there's a lot of it scheduled to be played the next 3 nights after this one. Actually, include days. Starts off tomorrow at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock again on Friday, 10 a.m. on Saturday. 3 games Thursday, Friday, 2 games on Saturday.
Yeah, they come in bunches this time of year.
So Hawaii gets the doubleheader tonight. Then after that, they'll play the matinee games or the evening games on Thursday, Friday, 6 o'clock. Hawaii tomorrow against Drexel, again against Minnesota on Friday. And then they'll play at noon on Saturday against Drexel.
That's the fourth tournament for Bob Coolin. He used to travel a couple times to the mainland for a couple tournaments.
Well, they went this year to
before.
California, down to San Diego for that tournament. First
yeah, and then that's, so it kind of depends. And people, of course, chomping at the bit to come here years ago. Now the travel and the scheduling, much different.
And it's like that for every sport.
It is.
It really is.
But this is nice. I mean, to get Minnesota and Texas Tech at the Big 12 and the Big 10 in here.
Absolutely.
Great.
A ball and 2 strikes to Soma. Here comes the pitch. And that's a call. No, it's just outside. It's a ball.
Reiser thought it was in there. She was taking a trot into the dugout.
I thought it was in there as well. Remember that angle is not straight on. Let's see what happens right here. Well, that one's easy to figure out.
Okay. I'm not sure whose head that was meant for right there, Scott. Maybe yours back here, but first pitch we've seen her lose out of the strike zone.
Soma's drawn a 3-ball, 2-strike count. It's got a chance to get on base right here. The payoff. There's swing and a miss, strike 3. And so Soma strikes out. 2 of the 3 batters go down swinging. And after 4, it's still 2-0 Hawaii. Well, it's an ILH boys volleyball doubleheader. First catch, HBA taking on Marino, followed by Damien and Lesjardins. The action kicks off at 4:45 Saturday, only on Spectrum OC16.
Oh, there's 2 really great things about that. One is the puppy with the pink harness, and 2 with the 49er hat.
I didn't even see the 49er hat.
Wow.
Sorry.
Come on, Scotty.
If it was a Giants hat, meaning the San Francisco Giants, I would have noticed.
Yeah, you're right. Izzy Dino working on a pretty good outing right here.
Yeah, facing Brooke Vanderhyde. Vanderhyde, number 9 hitter. Then we'll head to the top of the order, and Partain and Jensen. Yeah, Dino threw 4 innings. Allowed just 1 hit. That came back in the first inning. Hasn't struck anybody out. It's only walked 1. Second pitch down to Vanderhyde. Misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Have to pay attention there a little bit. So Vanderhyde faking that drag bunt the first time. This time kind of fakes the bunt, pulls the bat back, and then comes back again. Corner's pretty on it there. Nakamura and Cheeks.
That one catches the strike zone. How much work do teams do defensively in terms of defending a bunt, let's say?
A lot. And, it's easier now because you have, 3 or 4 players on your team doing the same thing.
That one's foul. But again, he's so quick.
I know.
Cat-like when she pounces on that ball.
I mean, and what's the scout here? You know, you're bunting it back to Dino. You know, you're trying to. I mean, sometimes you get too fine in softball. You know, out of those four fielders, 99% of the time, you know, the pitcher's the weakest link, right? And interesting how you try to go down the line sometimes a little too much.
Off speed. And the count goes full to the leadoff hitter.
But the corners in softball, the key is the read. You know, is the read. And you just washing the hands and the feet and sort of learning from the first at bat or from a prior game, that ball inside. So that's a lot of it, is just get that. And I guess you can say that about any position, but there's a lot to the nuances of slappers. And you can usually, if you really pay attention, read it.
You know, that's the second walk by Dino, both. The Vanderhyde, the number 9
Yeah.
hitter.
Sometimes it's hard when someone's running at you. It can be distracting.
I would be distracted.
Yeah, I mean, you're used to it a little bit, but some pitchers struggle with that.
Top of the order, McKenna Partain, the second baseman, 0 for 2, has flied out twice tonight.
You see, Dino hit the deck right there. I'm telling you, the last time Callie Heen threw, I've actually seen someone get hit in the head, played beside someone that got hit. Yeah, I mean, because you're only... What are you? You're probably about 38 feet by the time that throw comes.
That one bounces in the dirt. There goes the runner, no throw. Vanderhyde over at second base on the wild pitch.
That ball in the dirt. Partain, remember, has had a couple long fly balls out to Rossi. Yet to get a hit in this game, but you kind of feel like this is an accident waiting to happen here. You got to be careful if you're Dino. 2-0.
Little cat and mouse now going on with the base runner Vanderhyde. We saw it at first and out at second base too. After that pitch, he went about a quarter of the way past towards third.
Well, the left side, you see the little brain trust over there with Cheeks Ramos and Nevaeh Calpe. You got to figure who's covering third with the lefty like this. She'll probably take this in a 3-0, but if Cheeks has got to come in, then you've got to account for the base runner going to third. So little communication here on the left side.
3-0 the count. Taking all the way, Partain, and gets the strike.
But, you know, if you think about it, right, if you're a lefty and you're facing Dino and you're seeing Ramos retreating, it's not a bad idea to dump it, you know.
Towards second. Will there be a play at first? And I believe they do. Get her. Sabrin with a nice job of recovering and getting the ball to Nakamura.
Yeah, Sabrin with the save over there. Knocks it down and then struggled with the transition, but stayed with it and made a crisp throw. It's not an easy place sometimes for a first baseman either, because it's hard to track the throw when it's coming that hard and that close. So good play by the right side there.
There's Ellie Jensen. Singled back in the first, flied out to left in the third. Runner goes over to third. Come back her to Dino. She'll underhand it to first. And a good job because the runner has to hold up at third base. And that was a much better job by Dino because it was so quick, I don't think she had to think about it.
Yeah, and anything to the middle of her body or left, it's just when she has to go to her right and then turn around and try to make an underhand throw when it pulls her off of the pitching circle to her right. Anything to the middle and to the left is okay.
And now what do you think this conversation that is about ready to take place is about?
I don't know.
The runner is staying over at first base. She hasn't left. And there you see her running outside the line.
It looked like there was a little bit of slight contact when Nakamura came off the bag here.
But the base runner was not.
There's nothing wrong there. Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah.
So it's a 1-3 put out. Runner remains at third. Vanderhyde 2 down now for Den Hartog. Fly to center, reached on an error, and the pitch down from Dino misses.
One of the best hitters in the Big Ten right here. Go back to that. So the running slap hitters, one of the emphasis is for them to get into that runner's lane because they're moving forward.
It's harder.
That happens all the time, and it has become a little bit of a point of emphasis.
Ground ball in the hole, past the shortstop in the left. Vanderhyde comes in and scores on the RBI single by Den Hartog. Cuts the lead in half. It's now 2-1.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But the best hitter in the lineup, I mean, you don't want to put a tying run on, but you know this is kind of coming, right? This is just too good a hitter, too hot a bat.
RBI number 25 on the season for Den Hartog. 2-1 now, Hawaii leading. And Emily Hansen, the first baseman, has fly to left twice tonight.
Hansen got a little pop in her bat, too. Had a couple nice at-bats. 279 on the season.
He's got a couple of home runs. 1-0, ground ball right side. Sabourin quickly fires it over to Nakamura for the 4-3 put out, but the Gophers get on the board. It's now 2-1 Hawaii. All right, let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente K count for Minnesota. Starter Autumn Pease started, went 3 innings. She struck out 3, and then Amber Pfizer came in last inning and struck out 2 of the 3 batters she faced. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. If you're wondering about Izzy Dino for Hawaii, no strikeouts as of yet. So the Rainbow Wahine have the top of the order. Rossi, Kali'i Noe, and Kaupe to face Amber Pfizer.
Number 4, Brittany Rossi.
Rossi singled in her last plate appearance right after Lori called it. Lori, what's she going to do here? Come on.
I might bunt. That's the beauty of being a lefty. You can always get your bat on the ball, Scott, when in doubt. Rossi actually has pretty good success against high-velocity pitchers. If she looks down in the zone a little bit, she's got the bat speed.
Bottom of the 5th, very good ball game. 2-1 Hawaii leads. There's a big swing and a miss by Rossi.
She gets tempted up sometimes. It's hard to catch up with it when it's up.
Rossi 1 for 6 in today's doubleheader. Hawaii falling 5-0 in the first game against Texas Tech. Another nice pitch.
She didn't mess around, you know. It's pretty efficient.
And, we're talking about the time that, certain pitchers and how they like to set the tone in the circle. And it seems like Pfizer, she works a little quicker than we saw with Pease.
Will these 2 runs be enough? You mentioned that earlier. So if it's a pretty timely combination of pitchers, right? So they put Pfizer in to kind of try to shut the door here and give chase in the late innings, and they managed to put one up on the board there.
2 balls and 2 strikes, and there's a strike 3 swinging. So 3 of the 4 batters Pfizer has faced since coming in have struck out.
That's just gas.
I was going to say.
That's just gas. I mean, it breaks from left to right. You see the rotation. Was that tipped? I don't think so, but definitely see the variety. And in the end, right, she's just going to come right after you.
Kali'i Noe now, the batter. She swings and misses, though. As hard as Pfizer's throwing the ball, if you do make contact,
yeah.
The question is if you make contact. Pfizer working pretty quickly now. Nothing in 1. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Team's hitting 194 against her. She's given up 5 home runs. So, yeah, if you make
can run into
contact,
one.
yeah, you definitely.
Foul off the netting.
I mean, I thought Peace was throwing pretty hard, and probably her best pitch was the changeup. So that was a little different style, but this is some gas. The pearls are a nice touch too, don't you think, Scott? You see how that's
The pearls?
the pearls, the symmetrical. It starts with the bigger one, and then the middle one, and the middle one.
I don't know what that means.
That's Pfizer.
Are you talking about the headband?
No, I'm talking
Around
about
her
the
neck?
the piercing
Oh, the earrings.
See that?
Oh, okay. I didn't see those. Sorry. You know, I'm the father of 2 teenage daughters. You would think I would know, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I go home and I go right to my room.
Yeah, you should.
I'm outnumbered at home. 1-2 pitch.
Let's be really observant
Here's call strike 3.
and tell you that she's got 1 in her left ear and 3 in her right, and her number is 13. So it can't be number 59, but you could be number 13. Look at that. That's that little backdoor curve. That's her natural release. She staircases a little bit, but everything kind of coming at that angle at the Wahine.
I had 3 earrings in my left ear at one time. Many years ago.
You number 3? Or?
I just had
Yeah,
3
like
earrings in my
baseball
left
now?
ear. There was no reason. It was a cool
Or
thing
no
to
reason
do.
we want to talk about it.
How's that, though? 4 of the 5 batters now have struck out against her. Here's Navai Kaupe, the shortstop. Homered back in the first inning. That's the only runs Hawaii's had. A 2-run shot that drove in Kaylee Inoue. Looking to strike out the side is Pfizer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good eye.
That's 31 pitches. She's had 5 strikeouts and
Well, 4 strikeouts.
4 strikeouts and 31 pitches. That's pretty efficient.
But keep in mind, Kaupe played the last 2 years at the University
Oh,
of
yeah.
Washington. She has faced a number of pitchers.
Yeah, no, there's some
Like this.
there's some heightened awareness here,
Yeah.
I would guess, from Pfizer.
Ooh, little dance there. Kaupe had to jump out of the way.
Calpe not one to hit the deck and, try to get that hit by pitch.
No, she wants to swing.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
right.
So 3 balls in 1 strike. See if Kaupe can do something right here against Pfizer. Big swing and a miss.
Mono Imano right here. Well, it does run in on you a little bit. Could almost, as a right-hander, come off of that plate just a tad. Kaupe open to begin with, which helps her, but you can't close up too tight on your stride.
There's a called strike 3, and Pfizer strikes out the side and has struck out 5 of the first 6 batters she has faced.
Attention, legal players.
It's the best of Kobe on the next Ultimate Japan. Everything from the historic Himeji Castle to the famous Kobe beef. See what makes this city so special. Sunday night at 9:30, exclusively on Spectrum OC16. And we got ourselves a pretty special matchup right here as we head to the 6th inning. 2-1 Hawaii, leading number 19 Minnesota. And Izzy Dino has done a nice job tonight so far, allowing 1 hit, make that 2 hits. Has not walked, or she's walked 2, but she has not struck anybody out. As she faces Strelo, followed by Kemet Mueller and Jones. 5, 6, and 7 in the order. How long do you go with Dino? That's the question as we get to the 6th inning.
That's also, I think, Bob Coulin's question a little bit. I think he feels like he's let her get into some trouble maybe he should have pulled her out of, and got an active bullpen. Yeah, you got Emily Klee, we saw in the first game, and relief of Ashley Murphy, and then Jetta Nannen on the left there, the freshman. 22 and 23.
The thing I like about Dino tonight, she has found herself in a couple of tough situations, but she has been able to get herself out of it, and that's a sign of maturity. 2-1. Jump foul.
I think for Dino, it's more sort of refinding. I think it's there. I think we saw it there last year. I think it's sort of finding that rhythm again.
I mean, Minnesota's left 5 through 5 innings. The bases loaded. They left in the 2nd inning. It was really a big one for Dino to get out of. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's her first strikeout of the game. So maybe she's getting stronger.
Well, she's certainly gaining more confidence. She started to bring that drop ball up on balls that we saw a lot of balls in the dirt a little bit earlier. You know, balls that had some bite to them that were...
That was a ball all the way.
Yeah.
So she gets her first strikeout of the game, and she's not known as a strikeout pitcher anyway.
But Kelly Heen picks those off, doesn't she? Those, you know, she makes those look easier than they are.
Kemet Mueller hits that one well out to center field. I think we have a tie game, and we do. First pitch swinging right out to center field, the home run by Caitlin Kemet Mueller. And that is home run number 3 on the year, RBI number 9, and we got ourselves a brand new ball game.
Kemet Mueller jumped on the back of this, didn't she? First delivery, it's an off-speed drop ball over the plate. I don't know if Dino was trying to take a little bit off of that. Looked like it.
Well, that didn't take long as the Gophers have scored both their runs in the last 2 innings. They had a run in the 5th and one on that home run so far here in the 6th inning. And Kiana Jones, the right fielder, she fouls that pitch off.
That ball just hung, you know. We've been watching Kelly Heen pick those balls off the shoestrings, and that one wasn't quite at the shoestrings.
I guess the concern now is now Pfizer's in there pitching for Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to fall behind now.
I guess the good news is that Pfizer's probably not a pitcher you're going to produce a run from, so you're hoping that one swing of some of these home run bats changes the game.
0-2 to Jones. Off the end of the bat, Dino will take it, underhands it over to first, covering Sabering. And it's a 1-4 put out at first of Jones.
I love the way Izzy Dino runs back into the pitching circle and out of the dugout. It's as if it's her, that's her little area, it's her cage, and she likes to be in it. That ball, of course, pulling her off to the left. Nakamura on it. There's a good play by the right side. Sabering good cover from second. Dino didn't panic.
Holly Brandt, the shortstop, 2 down, shows bunt, and bunts a foul.
Don't see that a lot. You don't see the right-handers drag bunt. Used to see it a little bit more.
Now, I believe if this game does go to extra innings, they have the international tiebreaker rule they have in the past tournaments. I mean, we still have a little time between then and now, but just in case, we'll start the inning with a runner on second base. Going around, no question, was Brandt. Brandt has reached on the fielder's choice, has flied out to center, so she's 0 for 2 on the night. Were you able to find out?
Yeah. Yes, we are in tiebreaker mode in tournament play.
The 0-2 Slow one outside.
That's what the boss said up here anyway. Kara's she's pretty much the boss up here.
She makes the rules.
Yeah.
We just follow them.
Yeah.
We're not insubordinate.
No. Really not that smart. You just ask
for
Kara,
sure.
you know.
1-2. Out towards right. Backing up a bit. Kayla Inoue. She pulls it down for out number 3. But the solo home run off the bat of Kimmett Mueller has tied things up at 2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning of a tied game 2-2. Amber Pfizer came in relief of the starter Autumn Pease in the 4th inning. So in the last 2 innings, she has faced the minimum 6 batters, has retired all 6, 5 of the 6 via the strikeout. Pretty impressive.
Catcher number 9, Kelly Heen.
You got Heen, followed by Ramos, then Nakamura. That's why I saw their lead disappear off the home run in the top of this inning. And the first pitch down to Cali misses low and outside. Heen in this one has walked and reached on an infield single.
Yeah, I would say, Scott, we touched on a little bit. If you're international tiebreaker here, you have a chance. Better chance, obviously, to score on Pfizer in that situation. So, I mean, I would really hold on. You know, I mean, hold on, get that runner started at second base. But I'll tell you what, this matchup.
Well, you're still an inning and a half away from that situation if it happens.
And you got Kelly Heen up to swing.
Exactly. 1-1 to Heen. Outside. I don't think you'll see Heen get a chance to swing at anything really good.
Yeah, no. 1 or 2 people in this lineup you really worry about. And Heen really seems to be seeing the ball. I mean, tracking it really well.
Reaches out, fouls that one out of play. Well, I think she's seen the ball pretty well since the day she stepped on campus.
No, but I mean, you know, but sometimes she won't pull the trigger as much. You know, she tends to. I mean, when she was younger, I think there were times when. Now I feel like, and I also feel like you feel the juice in her a little bit when she comes up against these teams. You know, you can see it on her face. She wants to have a quality at bat.
Pops that one up to short. Grant usually grabs it. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th.
I think that was an off-speed pitch from Pfizer, the first one we've seen. That was timely. Heen just reaching out, not able to take a full swing.
The Cheeks Ramos
24, Cheeks Ramos.
had a base hit back in the first inning. Looks at a strike.
What's interesting about Cheeks, if you look at her stance, unlike a lot of the stances you see, she's pretty narrow. You know, she doesn't get real wide in her stance. She's a little bit more narrow than some of the other hitters in this lineup.
0-1. Right over to first base. Hansen gloves it, steps on the bag just in case. And that's now 8 in a row retired by Pfizer since coming in to start the 4th inning.
Now you think about it too, you talked about the 35 errorless innings by this team. Probably when you're playing behind Pfizer, that's a little bit easier. You got all those strikeouts coming. Nothing, I'm not taking that much away, but as I'm watching this, it's tough to get a real good swing on this.
Less chances of committing errors when everybody's striking out. See what Nakamura, the freshman out of Roosevelt, can do. Has started both ends of this doubleheader at first base. We've seen her at second this year.
A little bit in the outfield as well. That ball running way in. Strelo, nice job bouncing around back there. A catcher's mask almost looks like a hockey mask. Colors on the top. Not quite, but definitely
I think that's a cool
got
mask.
some colors, yeah. There's that pitch. There you see it, the top with the yellow.
Or is it gold?
Yes, it's gold. You're right.
They are the
Gopher
Golden
wood.
Gophers.
I didn't mean to
Yep.
insult the Gopher.
There's a strike.
It's kind of a difference. So that first pitch ended up about the same place, but it was just a hard spotted fastball. That pitch, sort of that backdoor curve, has a little break on it. Nakamura takes a lot of pitches. You know, she and Clayton Noy pretty good about that.
Takes that one. Looks at a strike.
Look at the
3
fore-
balls,
look at
2
the-
strikes.
Look at the forearm on her. You can just see how heavy that is, that right arm.
Bouncing ball out to short. Waiting. Brandt got it. Gets it over to first. And another 1, 2, 3 inning by Amber Pfizer and the Golden Gophers. Go ahead to the 7th. Tied at 2. Well, here we go to the 7th and final scheduled inning between Hawaii and number 19 Minnesota. We're tied at 2 apiece. Hawaii getting 2 runs in the first, and then the Gophers getting single runs the last 2 innings, the 5th and 6th. So for Minnesota, Vanderhyde, then top of the order Partain and Jensen to face Izzy Dino. Vanderhyde has walked twice and has scored a run here tonight. Goes back, and that pitch misses outside.
Nakamura coming in hard from that corner position at first.
Well, this is such a key inning.
You know, it is. That's a good aggressive play. I mean, likely going to go to the left side, but you never know.
That one goes into center field. The infield field was drawn in a bit. They throw back to first, and they get her. Wow, what a heads-up play by Rossi, who saw Vanderhyde take a little turn around first base, fired a strike to Nakamura, who applied the tag. It'll be a base hit, and then 8-3 on the putout. Check this out.
I feel like they may have called her out on the swing. We got to double check this, but this is a great throw and pick. Backdoor Nakamura with a nice peace of mind on the tag.
So 1 down. Top of the order, McKenna Partain, the second baseman. 0 for 3 is flied out twice, is grounded out. That's kind of one of those plays that really gets you fired up. Let's take a look at this again.
Watch the footwork. So I'm not sure when they backed this up if Uriel didn't call her out of the box, but in any case, out either way.
Well, I didn't see any sign of him doing that.
I thought I did a little later, not early on, but could be wrong. Either way, it's a great call. Throw that back. You know, she loves to throw that. We saw her throw one in the front end. Like, Rossi's got a gun.
You see the right fielders do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
You don't see center fielders do that
But
a
in
lot
a
over
tight,
the first.
I played with somebody that had a rocket, and in a tight ballpark, it's no harm, no foul. You got
Sure.
nobody on. You know, you kind of take a shot at it.
But that's got to pump you up if you're Hawaii. I mean, you think it's going to be a base hit, and it ends up turning into an out. That's going to pump you up. There's Brittany Rossi. Ends up play by her.
Yeah, you love that, right? Anytime you're an outfielder and you make an infield play. I think one of the best plays I've ever seen is there are a couple teams that used to run center field pickoffs. Can't even imagine that, right, as a baseball guy. But they would sneak people in on a set call, you know, and somebody that was leading off and you don't feel them coming. So some people like to throw it around. Rossi, one of them.
There's 1-2 Rossi, and that goes over to the outfield fence. Comes up firing, gets away. Keene backs it up, and they hold Partain to a single. That was a little scary.
Yeah, she was due. I'm telling you, she had a couple deep just flies in her first two at-bats. Kind of felt like she was due. Looked like Rossi didn't reach up on that. I couldn't tell. I think it was over her head either way, but this ball hot off the bat of Partain, drops the barrel right on it. Yeah, Rossi had no chance there.
But the throw back to the infield got away, and luckily Callahan backing it up, and Partain is still over at first base, but one away, and here's Ellie Jensen. Jensen hits it right side, pass Nakamura into right field. Quickly going to third. Here comes the throw. Do they get her? No. Sliding in safely at third is Partain.
So there's been a couple really good throws by these outfielders. Illinois making a play out of this to Ramos. I feel like Ramos makes a pretty good tag there. It's a better slide to the outside part of the bag.
No, Illinois with a nice throw.
It's hard to do that because you're back. You know, you're not facing the throw. So sometimes you really got to read the third baseman.
I think we're going to get a pinch runner. Let's take a look at this one more time.
See the running start. This is Partain coming into third. Yeah, good call.
So we're going to have a pinch runner, Allie Lindner. Will run over at first base. Another one of those with the interesting number 67 out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a sophomore.
Now that's a situation where you probably couldn't have the piercings. I mean, you could, but it would be a lot harder. We're going to see the left-hander, Emily Klee.
Well, we'll talk all about her when we come back. One down, but runners on the corners here in the seventh of a tied ball game. All right, we get our second chance to see Emily Klee this evening. She went 4 innings in the first game against Texas Tech, allowed 2 hits, no runs, a walk, and no strikeouts. And now she has that tough task of coming in here in the top of the 7th inning and trying to stop the Gophers from scoring. There you see her 10th appearance on the year. 14 innings thrown, 2.50 ERA, only 2 strikeouts and 6 walks. But the Gophers, with runners on the corners and 1 away, and the number 3 hitter, Natalie Den Hartog, the batter. drove in a run back in the 5th inning. First run of the game for the Gophers shows bunt. Runner will go down to second, throw down to third, and Partain not going anywhere, so they'll give a stolen base to Lindner, the pinch runner.
Getting a little dicey here with one
Absolutely.
out. A lot of options here, and outfield pretty deep. Infield trying to cut the run off. The best hitter on the team at the plate.
The 0-1, she hits that one into right field. They'll drop in for a base hit. Here comes a throw home. It's late. And coming in and scoring is Partain. And the Gophers take the 3-2 lead as that run is charged to Izzy Dino. So a single and an RBI for Hartung, her second RBI here tonight.
Kind of see those overalls in your future, maybe in
Future, how about now?
green and, green and white. You can't wear that in Minnesota right now.
Probably not.
Tell you, that's just a great piece of hitting. Den Hartog known for that. She's having a great season and continues it right there, fighting the ball off a single into right field to put her team up one.
26th RBI on the year. So the Gophers shut out for the first 4 innings and single runs in the 5th, 6th, and so far here in the 7th to take the lead. Emily Hansen has flied out to left twice, has grounded out. High pop-up out towards left. Soma coming over near the line, makes the grab. The runner will have to hold up at third for out number 2.
Hard to pitch to Den Hartog. You don't want to put her on, I guess, in that situation, but honestly, she's been hitting like she's been unconscious. I mean, it's, so...
Well, she did come in only hitting 414 on the year, so...
425? 414?
Yeah, 414. That's not too bad.
I don't know. She's been like...
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah,
414 is really good.
I just sort of thinking, man,
Here's Strelo. Sydney Strelo, the catcher, has walked, fly down, struck out.
I mean, I think in baseball, you certainly statistically are, that's a whole algorithm on when you're putting people on, and that might not be the situation in baseball, but I think you would think about it here, just given that situation and how hot she is.
Here comes Clee's next pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Well, if you want to look ahead to the bottom of the 7th inning, Hawaii has scheduled the bottom third of their order. Zaberin, Bartolotti, and Soma.
Couple freshmen.
And, of course, you have Pfizer in the circle, who has been incredible to this point. So it's going to be a tall task. Hawaii for sure cannot allow any more runs to score. And you feel like they're going to have a chance.
And you feel like this is, well, you mentioned earlier, like it feels like it's going to take more than 2 runs, but it's almost been surgical.
It has.
I mean, you like a confidence that they're going to, they've a couple home runs. It's been interesting to sort of how this game sort of felt.
And nothing in 2 pitch. Called strike 3, and that will end the inning. But a run comes across to Gophers lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Well, it's do or die time for Hawaii as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. That guy's been here all evening long, and he wants to see Hawaii rally. Hawaii trails it 3-2. Hawaii's only runs coming way back in the first inning on a 2-run home run by Navai Kaupe. And then Minnesota with single runs in the 5th, 6th, and the 7th inning take their first lead and have Amber Pfizer in the circle, who came in the 4th inning, has retired all 9 batters she has faced. And has 5 strikeouts as in right field. We saw the pinch runner Allie Lindner come in, and she will stay and go out in right field. So then pinch ran, and now we'll play a little defense as Rachel Saberin will come in and foul the first pitch off. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Saberin here tonight.
You know, it's interesting when you look at sort of what's happened during the season. Some of the best games. Kansas State was a 3-2 game.
Iowa.
They beat Kansas State. You have 2-1 Oregon State. We were here for that. And so, yeah, and some of the better teams, you've had some really good outings, which is promising. So we'll see if they can round a run up here in the bottom of the 7th. This has been a well-played game, I guess, is my point. And we've seen a few of those against some of the better competition.
Pfister's next pitch. The third baseman charges, fires, gets it over there. Kemet Mueller, good job defensively. First time she's handled the ball tonight.
Yeah, that's... You're not handling a lot of balls, I don't think, especially behind Pfizer. Even Pease was, obviously effective. But you're a little more ready, Scott, because you're trying to end this,
Mm-hmm. Bartolotti came in to pinch hit for Rivera back in the 4th inning. Designated hitter, a freshman of Kapolei. You mentioned in high school she hit a number of home runs.
There's some pop in the bat, for sure.
Way late, Bartolotti. Pfizer would get the win if Minnesota holds on to this lead, and she'd pick up her 10th win of the season.
Little apprehension in that swing by Bartolotti. A piece of that?
Yeah, staying alive.
Similar pitch, outside part of the plate.
Now, Hawaii will get another crack at Minnesota later on this week in this tournament. They'll face them on Friday, 6 o'clock. Off speed. Or was that a fastball? That looked a little slower than what she'd been throwing. Either way, it's a strikeout. 6 strikeouts now for Pfizer, and Hawaii's down to their final out.
Watch this pitch. It's going to come up. Kind of jumps up. You see the glove of the catcher. Strelo trying to keep up with that. So the rise ball for the strikeout.
Shoma looks at a pitch away.
So those 2 pitches look the same. The difference is she'll lean back for the rise ball and she'll take a bigger stride. And then the hard stuff that she's throwing, she'll stay short on her stride and the ball will stay low. So controls it really by her stride length.
Popped up in the infield and taking it and unable to hold on to it is Pfizer. It's a fair ball. It's a hit.
She came a long way for that just to make a play. Would have been a tough play for Strelo because she wasn't going to catch it. And it was going to kick off her chest protector. She may have had a shot at it. Just kind of an odd low fly ball off the handle. And then it goes off the glove of Pfizer. Can't make the play.
And Hawaii's still in this one as we head to the top of the order. And Brittany Rossi, the center fielder. Rossi, a single in 3 plate appearances here in this one. 3-2 Gophers, 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning.
If Rossi can stay off of the rise ball, she is one of probably 3 players that can get it out of here. Big if. That's not easy to pick up.
Well, the meeting with the coach is Powell. Rossi steps in. Left-handed hitter against right-handed thrower. And the fastball right at the knees for a strike.
She's pretty true early in the count. You know, sometimes you want to take your licks early at first or second pitch because she's so tough to hit from behind in the count. Strelo lunging for that, the catcher in the outside part of the plate. That was a miss. Tough to have a miss when someone's throwing that hard.
One ball, one strike to Rossi. She's ready. Feiser's ready. There's one looped over towards short. Up with it is Brandt to first. Is it in time? It is. 6-3, the putout of Rossi. And that's your ball game as Hawaii falls in the second game of the doubleheader. This time to Minnesota by the final of 3-2. 3-run, 6 hits, no errors for Minnesota. 2-run, 6 hits, and a pair of errors for Hawaii. And kind of a bummer because Hawaii played, I thought, pretty well. Izzy Dino was good in the circle, but the pitching was just too strong by Minnesota.
Yeah, you know, it was obviously a good strategy, that little 1-2 punch. They didn't wait too long on Peace, and they had confidence their offense was going to come up with a couple runs, and they'd just ride that pitching, and that's what they did.